Okay, and so thank you so much. We have Derek Sharrer, and who's been very patiently waiting to share. Derek, thank you for joining us again today. He is introduced by Dan Hunt. Thank you, Dan.
Good morning. Thank you, Margaret. Derek is the Executive Vice President and General Manager of the St. Paul Saints. It's not often I get to introduce a fellow Hoosier, but Derek, like me, is from Indiana, grew up in Whiteland, which is due south of Indianapolis, Indiana. He's a 1993 graduate of Indiana University with a degree in sports business and has been in baseball since. He has been named the Executive of the Year by the American Association for multiple years running. So many years, in fact, that I suspect he is the only executive eligible to receive the award. During Derek's tenure with the Saints, they have consistently finished at or near the top of the league in attendance. Additionally, Derek was named to the 2007 Minneapolis-St. Paul Business Journal Top 40 under 40. 2018, Derek was included in the Minnesota Magazine's 500 Most Powerful Business Leaders. Additionally, he was named as one of the Twin Cities Businesses Magazine's 100 People You Should Know. Derek resides in Woodbury with his wife Candace, sons Sullivan and Lawson. Derek's going to speak to us only till 8:28, so we're going to start Q&A at 8:20. Derek, it's all yours.
Thank you, Dan. Good morning, everybody. So great to see everybody. And the only thing I can share that's completely true about that introduction is that one, I am from Indiana, go Hoosiers, graduated from IU. Two, I do work for the Saints. I'm not sure about the rest of it though. And I guess the multiple executives of the year awards, you're right, Dan. They enjoyed giving that to me so much they kicked me out of the league, which is part of what we'll be talking about today, is that we're no longer members of the American Association. A couple of quick things that I just want to mention. I'm a full disclosure, I'm also a member of the St. Paul Rotary Club, Club 10, have been for years and have loved it. So I absolutely love joining meetings like this and seeing, particularly this year during the pandemic, seeing how everybody's doing their meetings differently. And you guys are doing a great job and seem to be having a blast with it. But I saw a lot of folks on the chat coming across there ready to be back in person, and I'll put myself in that group too. This has been fun and different and unique, and it's great to see how it works. But I'm ready to be able to see folks in person. And I'm going to steal the statistics off of that chat and use that in my own efforts to get people back in the ballpark here this spring. It seems it was pretty heavy in favor of being back in person, and I'm hopeful that very soon folks will be back in person at both CHS Field and Target Field here this spring. Lastly, Dan mentioned I've got a hard out around 8:30. I've got another call I have to jump on. Plus, I've got a sophomore that's going to be looking to get in this room to begin school this morning. So he'll be knocking on the door from 8:30. So I'll jump right in, and I'm really going to focus heavily today on what's happening with the Saints and the Twins, and then leave some time for questions. I'm going to sort of assume, maybe wrongly or rightly, that everybody knows a little bit about the history of the Saints. And I won't spend as much time on that. I'll talk a little bit more about the news of the day or the news of the off season. But just the short history is that the St. Paul Saints opened up shop in 1993, was our inaugural season here in the Twin Cities. And it's the reason that the Saints came about sort of leads into why we've made this transition this year and what's happening in baseball, both Major League and minor league. When our ownership group, Mike Veck, Marvin Goldklang, and Bill Murray, the three principal owners of the Saints in 1992, the three principal owners of the Saints in 2021, when they decided that they wanted to open a ballpark or open a franchise in St. Paul, just a few miles away from a major league ballpark, the reason behind it was that there were it was sort of a rebirth of what was called independent baseball, and there's affiliated baseball and independent baseball. Affiliated baseball is made up of minor league teams that have a parent major league team. Their players are provided by that major league team, and they're sort of a stop on the ladder as a player makes his way to the major league. independent baseball came about because there were only 30 major league teams and there were only so many minor league teams that every major league team was going to have. Our ownership, along with several other ownerships, believed that there were other communities that could support and wanted minor league baseball. So that's where independent baseball came back. And they also felt there was a pool of players that could play the game at a high enough level and deserved another opportunity to play. But in our case, it was about the city of St. Paul and the community, and just there was a feeling that this was a place that had a rich history in baseball and would support baseball and would love to have a team of their own. And our belief was that more baseball was better baseball, and that as we were building fans in our ballpark in St. Paul, those fans would also become Major League Ball fans and end up going to Twins games and sort of the all boats rise with the rising tide. So 28 years of that history, 28 years of fun, silliness, things we should probably apologize for. We should probably apologize to all of those umpires that we forced to kiss a pig when the pig brings the balls out to them before the game. We should probably apologize for, it's probably in poor taste to give away mini bats on a day that we had Tanya Harding at the ballpark signing autographs. Should probably apologize for giving away a yellow rubber boat and celebrating the 25th anniversary of the TV show The Love Boat. The little purple and yellow boat said Minnetonka Queen on it. There are several things we've done over the years that we've had a lot of laughs, but maybe we should apologize. But over those 28 years of being an independent baseball team, we've had a blast and we've had a lot of fun. Food fights, pillow fights, Sister Roz giving massages at the ballpark, haircuts at the ballpark, the silly promotions I mentioned just a few seconds ago. What's changed over that last 28 years and what happened very recently. Number one, we really had no interest in changing from independent baseball to affiliated baseball. We were very happy doing what we were doing, with whom we were doing it with. Loved the independent game, loved the opportunity to be creative, loved the opportunity to give great players a second chance. Darryl Strawberry, Kevin Millar, Jack Morris, guys like that who played for the Saints that had an opportunity to get back to the major leagues after already, or in the case of Kevin Millar, a guy who may not have ever even been noticed as a potential major leaguer, but the opportunity he had to play with the Saints allowed him to be seen and make it to the major league. So loved every minute of being an independent franchise, but not for the perfect partner at the perfect time, we would not have made this shift. And that's really what we're dealing with now, having become the AAA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins here only 10.5 miles away from our ballpark. So the quick backstory to how that transition took place: about 16, 17 months ago, Major League Baseball owners came together and began to dig into how they could improve their player development system. How could they create a better situation for their minor league players as they work their way up the ladder? And there were a few things that they wanted to do. They wanted to become more efficient, number one, and they wanted to create a situation that created a better experience as those players were drafted and then worked their way up to the major leagues. And a couple of approaches they wanted to take. One, they wanted to improve the geography of the major league, minor league affiliate system. So every major league team, dating back a year, had 6 or 7 minor league teams. Most of them had about 6 minor league teams. There were a total of 160 minor league affiliated teams. But they were scattered all over the place. And the Twins had their AAA team in Rochester, New York. They had their AA team in Pensacola, Florida. They had a single A team in Cedar Rapids. And every other major league team had a similar scenario where they just had affiliates all over the place with no real rhyme or reason. So number one, they wanted to improve geography. Number two, they wanted to make sure that the minor league facilities were best in class. They wanted to make sure that they were maintaining a certain level of facility standards, and that wasn't happening at the time. So they wanted to hold minor league owners' feet to the fire and make sure those facilities were improved. And if a facility wasn't up to standard, then they wanted to move that facility out of the system. And then the third thing is they wanted to improve the health and wellness of their players and that minor league journey, that experience. They wanted to improve their pay. Minor league baseball players don't live a very glamorous life as they're trying. Once they make it to the big leagues, life is good, but up until that point, it's rough. It's long bus rides. It's in the past, it's been bad food, not great diets, and it's not and not comfortable facilities within the ballparks they operate. So as they went through this process and decided to develop a plan, they decided they wanted to shrink the minor league affiliate system down to 120, and they wanted to give major league teams an opportunity to put together their perfect case scenario for a minor league affiliate system. The Twins, in one of those meetings, raised their hand and said, "All right, we're all in. We think this is a great idea, but we've got a tricky situation we want to bring up. We have a ballpark, a franchise 10.5 miles away from Target Field that checks all the boxes. A beautiful new ballpark, completely up to standard, and maybe even exceeding most standards. Good operators, crowds love it. 8,000 people a night, top 10 in attendance in all of minor league baseball over the past 5 years. The facility is set up perfect geographically. It's set up perfect from a health and wellness perspective. The only problem is they're not part of the affiliate system. They're an independent team. So what do? We'd really like the Saints to be part of our affiliate structure, but how do we do it? So that's when this process started. That Major League Baseball wanted to overhaul minor league baseball, and as part of that, we were brought into the loop. Almost unknowingly, we read an article in Baseball America, which is an important trade magazine in our business. The article came out in October of 2019, and we're reading about this new proposal for the overhaul of minor league baseball, and we see our name listed as a potential AAA affiliate for the Minnesota Twins. The newspapers showed up, the cameras showed up, put a microphone in our faces and said, "What do you think?" We said, "Well, it's interesting, but we don't know anything about it." So that was sort of the first introduction to this potential, and from that point, we began having conversations sort of behind the scenes and quietly with the Twins, and started thinking about what that would look like for the Saints. And what was number one and most important to us was, one, we like I said, right partner, right time. We would be crazy to have not been interested. But what was most important was that while some things would change about what we do and how we do it, what couldn't change was our culture and our fan experience. When people walk through the gates at CHS Field, whether we're an independent team or a AAA team, that experience couldn't change. Affordability had to be a huge part of it. The fun, the creativity, the promotions, the silliness, the opportunity for people just to be together and enjoy time away from the craziness of the real world, that couldn't change. And to our excitement, the Twins said right up front, "Look, we love everything the Saints bring to the table, and we're excited about this partnership. We don't want the Saints to change. We only want to be part of this partnership if the Saints continue to be the Saints." So that eased our minds on that front. I think even our fans were concerned when the announcement came out that we were becoming affiliated and becoming part of the Major League Baseball system, that this fun sort of counterculture, anti-establishment band of rebels in St. Paul were going to become part of the establishment. And so it was very important. It was very important for us to be sure that was the way the Twins saw it, and that we could share with our fans that nothing would change along those lines. As time went on, those conversations continued. We were planning on opening our 2020 season, when of course the world stopped with the pandemic. A couple of basketball players tested positive in the NBA, and the NCAA tournament shut down, and we all sheltered in place. We began planning for what we were going to do during a season without baseball, as every baseball fan and baseball operator was. And one of the things that came about was with Major League Baseball starting its season late in July and not operating their minor league system, they needed a place to play games or to train. They needed a place to train for their minor leaguers. They had 30 guys that they called their taxi squad, and they needed those guys to be healthy and ready to play if a major leaguer was hurt. They didn't have their normal minor league squad. So CHS Field became the alternate training site. We also began playing games in our league as an independent team. So for about 2 months, the Twins were. It was very odd because the Saints weren't playing at first. We were playing in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I would look out my window and I would see Twins playing baseball in St. Paul with the Saints playing baseball in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, because we weren't able to play here in the Twin Cities yet in front of fans. We got to a point where we were able to play in front of fans, about 1,500, did so safely, working with the state of Minnesota and the Department of Health. We played about 21 games as an independent last year, our last season in that league. Safely, 1,500, 31,500 people enjoyed baseball in August and September as we wrapped up our lives as an independent club. But all the while, we had the Twins AAA players basically working out in the mornings before we played games in the evening. So the Twins coaching staff, the Saints staff, the Twins AAA players at the time had an opportunity to get very comfortable with each other at CHS Field, which made it even more of a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer financially. It was a no-brainer from a baseball perspective. The number one change that takes place, very little changes about the day-to-day operation for the Saints or our fans. The number one change and the most exciting change is between the white lines. Moving forward, we as the Saints won't scout and find our own players. We won't put together our own roster. I saw a question pop up in the chat there that I can answer to that point. Our players now are the property of the Twins. They are the Twins will now have 4 minor league rosters, 2 single A teams, a double A team, and a triple A team, and that triple A team will play in St. Paul. And when they need to be, if a player needs to be called up, they only have a 10.5-mile ride to be called up to move from St. Paul to Target Field. If a major league player needs to rehabilitate from an injury, they only have a 10.5-mile ride across town to play at CHS Field and sort of work their way back into shape. In the past, that was a lot more difficult for the major league team to manage, to move players to and from those minor league affiliates. If a major league player needed to rehabilitate from an injury, they went to Fort Myers, Florida, the spring training site. Now, very simply, they can come across town. They can sleep in their own bed at night. They can see the Twins doctors here in the Twin Cities, but then they can play against AAA caliber competition to work their way back in. Our fans will now have an opportunity to see. They've had an opportunity to see very good professional baseball for the last 28 years. Now they're going to have an opportunity to see the top prospects in all of baseball, not just in the Twins organization, but the teams that we will be playing against. We are in what's called the AAA East League. Not the most creative league name. I think they're going to work on that here over the course of time. I would imagine there might be a sponsor name attached to it at some point, the State Farm AAA East or something like that. But for now, it's the AAA East League. The Saints are the furthest most west, along with the Iowa Cubs and the Omaha Storm Chasers. The league stretches all the way over to the East Coast, Syracuse, Norfolk, Charlotte, Durham, into the Midwest, Columbus, Toledo, Indianapolis, Louisville. So really excited to become part of a more national footprint within our league, as well as the opportunity to see those top prospects. But the combination of the opportunity that exists with the partnership between the Saints and the Twins is incredibly exciting for us and the Twins. That their baseball operations department couldn't be more excited to be able to have that flexibility. We couldn't be more excited to expand our season. We will now play 70 games instead of 50 games at home. We'll play 140-game schedule over the course of, actually it's 142, but we'll play 78 home this year. So we have an opportunity to provide more baseball to the Twin Cities. One of the things we're most excited about is the opportunity to work together, hand in hand, to grow the game. Over the years, it's been an ongoing, I don't want to say battle, but it's been an ongoing effort for Major League Baseball and minor league baseball to continue to do everything it can to keep kids playing the game of baseball. So many more activities, so many people are busy, and we want to make sure that we're growing baseball fans. We're growing the game by keeping kids playing baseball, and we're very excited about the opportunity to sort of combine forces now and work together. We've never worked against each other. We've never really competed. We did our thing, they did theirs, but together we feel like we can accomplish even more. So much to be excited about. Sort of this new landscape for baseball in Twin Cities and in Minnesota abroad. So couldn't be more excited. And I see I'm bumping up against a little bit of time here, so I would love to open it up for any questions. I don't know if you want me to dig into the chat and find questions, or if somebody wants to share.
Let me first of all, thank you. Great presentation. Just curious, growing up in Southern Indiana, which professional baseball team did you follow?
So yeah, there were the Reds. We had the Reds nearby. Obviously went to those games. Had the Cubs and White Sox up north, and I didn't root for any of those teams actually. I grew up rooting for the Montreal Expos. Very weird. I fell in love with the game of baseball with the Indianapolis Indians, which is a AAA affiliate. For a long time they were an affiliate of the Reds, but in my formative years, they were the AAA affiliate for the Montreal Expos. Andre Dawson, Tim Raines, Buck Rogers, these Gary Carter. So I absolutely loved the Expos because I grew up watching those guys play when they were AAA minor league players. So yeah, but I went to Reds games. We drove down to Cincinnati. We drove to Chicago, did road trip. So enjoyed it all. But the Expos were my team.
Let me ask you one more question. Get questions out of the chat. So being so close to the Twin Stadium, is there a chance one of your players might play for both teams in the same day?
It's very possible, and it's one of the things that the Twins staff is so excited about is we may have a day game scenario where a guy's on our roster, but by nightfall he's pitching for the Twins. So it's very. I would almost say it's more than a possibility. It's a likelihood.
So will you have like a parade that afternoon from one stadium to the next?
It'll be a Green Line parade.
Wonderful. Why don't you pick some questions off the chat, and then when you got to go, you go.
All right, let me see here. I'll just go down quickly here. Will the Colonels still be playing in Cedar Rapids as the affiliates? Yes, the Colonels have become now that they were the low A affiliate. In the reshuffling, they now are the high A affiliate. How would you compare the talent? We're moving around here. How would you compare the talent? Would you consider the American Association single A or double A? So our roster was made up of former major leaguers, AAA players, single A, double A, all the way down. So it sort of depended on who was pitching on any given night. If we had a rookie pitching, it was probably a low A to a single A roster or a game. But if we had one of our AAA guys, a Mark Hamburger who pitched for us for 2 or 3 years, at that point you were seeing a double A or AAA game. But on the whole, the talent was a pretty big mix. Let's see here. Working my way down. Is that okay? Team roster will be replaced. Okay, I think hopefully I answered the question about will the current roster be replaced. Our former roster has now become, basically they were made free agents within the American Association. So most of those guys have landed with other independent franchises. A couple of them even got signed by major league teams and will be part of their minor league system. But our entire roster will be new, and we're excited to see who it's going to be. I mean, it's the up and coming names within the Twins organization. Trevor Larnach, Alex Kirilloff, Royce Lewis, who unfortunately hurt his knee recently. We were looking forward to having him play for us this summer, but it looks like he'll be rehabilitating. So here's one that how will this new partnership create new opportunities of collaboration amongst the two clubs? Any concerns the Twins are going to dictate direction of the team versus working together? It's a great question. I started to talk about that there at the end. That there are going to be several ways we collaborate. One is in, again, growing the game. I think there are going to be opportunities to collaborate from a marketing perspective. Certainly, we've already taken a look at our schedules to see when we may have a day game and they have a night game, or vice versa. There are opportunities to put together day-night doubleheader marketing opportunities and ticket packages. So we're excited about that. And we really have zero concern about the Twins dictating direction. So I appreciate you asking that. And I know that's been a concern. But they've been adamant that they want to see the operation of the Saints stay the same. And they've gone so far as to say they anticipate, and this was, I'm quoting Dave St. Peter here. I think if he was here with me, he'd share it. But he shared when we introduced the partnership that he envisioned as much, if not more, impact being had from CHS Field on Target Field than the reverse. So this a key differentiation. This is a partnership. It's an affiliation. It's not an acquisition. So I think that's really important to share is that we're definitely coming together to we're providing value for them and they're certainly providing value for us. And it's really exciting for baseball in Minnesota. It's not something that's been done before in the baseball world. A major league affiliate, a major league parent club this close in proximity to a minor league team, let alone two teams that have been operating for 28 years in the same market. The Twins now for over 60 years, Saints for 28. So two successful organizations coming together to make 1 + 1 = 3.
Very good.
So I think I probably should.
Yes. Thank you very much. One more thing, will you tell your son when he comes to take over the room that the club's ready for his presentation to us?
I will. I'll let him know there are a few folks waiting on him.
Great. Derek, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, everybody.
Thank you, Derek.
Take care.
All right. Great presentation. Wow. Thank you, Dan, too, for, I can't remember who referred Derek in. Was it?
Fabulous Club Secretary, Mary Brindle.
Woohoo, Mary. Good job. Very, very intriguing, interesting. I love both teams and kind of hoping we can get back out and seeing baseball again this summer, right? I mean, nothing says summer better than baseball. So, all right, you guys, well, thank you so much. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that next week we have Kathy Rendelman coming from the Edina Education Fund. She's coming to talk about how the students are doing in general. And then more specifically, we have another kind of co-speaker, Alec Fisher. Many of you might know his dad, Mike Fisher, was a part of the city council for years. But Alec has kind of taken on a whole new area of business and video production. So he's going to be sharing a couple of videos that he's done. Really, they're interviews. They're called COVID Confessions. We're going to promote them on our Facebook and Instagram social media platforms as well. They're really touching, and it really shows a little bit more in depth what people are going through, you know, that maybe they're not talking about every single day. So just keep an eye out for that stuff, but then please join us next week as it will be a great meeting. So thank you again. And I also want to thank you again to Erica, our guest. We hope to see you back again, Erica. Please join us next week if you have an interest in that. And that's kind of about it. Wow, you guys, right on time, 8:30, boom. Okay, so thanks again for joining us and have a great week. And remember, Rotary opens opportunities.